there in podcast land. This is the voice of Friendship Village coming at you. That's the official name of our podcast, The Voice of Friendship Village. And we're glad you're tuning in and hearing a great interview, we believe, because the person we're interviewing is pretty great and has some good things to tell us. So we look forward to that. And so first thing on our docket for today is to find a sponsor for this podcast. And we've decided that our sponsor today will be the upcoming bazaar to be held on my birthday, April 12th of this year. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So that'll help you to remember my birthday. When the bazaar comes, you'll say, hey, somebody's birthday is today. So anyway, it's my birthday. But so we appreciate all the people who have already put in a lot of legwork just to make this happen again this spring. And chief of those good workers is Bob Reichert, who's heading up the whole shebang and has a very fine committee surrounding him. And so it's going to be a good time. And we appreciate that. And let me just share a joke, if you don't mind. So the joke takes place in a college room. The professor is teaching his students about social studies or something like that. And anyway, he gets on a tirade and he says, God, if you are really real, come down and knock me off this platform. His purpose was for God to not show up, of course. He didn't want to get knocked down, but just to show the students that God is just a figment of their imagination. So he taunted God. God, if you're real, come down and knock me off. And nothing happened. So he turned to the students and said, see, I told you so. But just about that time, a 300-pound football guard was running down the hallway, and he ran into the professor's room, ran up on the stage, and boom, popped him down on the floor. And the professor looked at him and said, why did you do that? He said, well, when you were carrying on about God, God was busy, so he sent me to take care of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good one.
Right. So let's begin our interview. So, and it's with Deanna Smith from across the pond, I would say, because I'm on this side.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Village Terrace. So why don't you get us started, Mary?
Okay. Welcome, Deanna.
Thank you.
We are very glad to have you here. And yes, she does live at the terrace with her husband. And she's agreed to have a interview with us today. I know nothing about her, so this will be like from scratch. I met her at one of the functions and we got visiting, and she complimented how she liked our podcasts and how we handle them. And so I just kind of let it go for a while, and I finally looked at her and I said, would you like to do a podcast? And she very much agreed to do it. So I am so happy that she did. We like people to have a podcast with us so we get to know more about them. So I always start my podcast with, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Clarksville, Missouri, on the Mississippi River, on the highest point between St. Paul and New Orleans. So we lived on the hill, and it was called the Pinnacle.
Ooh.
So when we moved here, and they called Cedar River a river, I sort of thought, wait, that's a creek, but you say crick up here, where we say creek in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived in Clarksville, Missouri.
For how long?
Until I got married.
Oh.
And then my husband went to Missouri University, and then he taught school for 7 years. He majored in vocational agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
And had the opportunity to get a stipend to come to It was State College of Iowa then. So we moved from a farm in a small town close to Clarksville to the concrete block duplexes that you and I remember those.
Yeah.
It
I
was
do.
one of the best years of our life. There were like 80 kids in 2 blocks of time. We had 3 daughters at that point. The oldest 2 went to Price Lab, and it was a wonderful year. However, my husband did not go back into teaching. He went into real estate instead. He had other job offers, but he decided he wanted to go to real estate. And we found out, or really believed later, that the Lord moved us here for Bob to do Gideon work.
Okay.
The ones who place Bibles in hotels and motels and in schools and hospitals, etc.
Mhm.
So for 10 years, he was on the Gideon's International Cabinet and traveled like 30 weekends out of the year. So
Wow.
it was a new way of life that we felt really blessed to have.
Did you go with him on his
No.
trip?
I was the stay by the stuff person with the family.
Right. So did you go to college at all?
No, I didn't. I was a homemaker.
You got married and had your 3 girls.
I did. And then we had another girl and a son when we moved here.
Okay. So how old are they now?
Wow, 68 down to 55.
Okay. All right, in that bracket. In that bracket. And some of them live around here.
We have a daughter who lives here and a son who lives here.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
And where do the others live?
Our oldest daughter is married to a pastor in Champaign, Illinois. Our second daughter is in Dallas with her husband.
And that's the one that just came to visit.
Yes, and our third daughter lives here, Sonia. And our fourth daughter is Melissa with her husband, William, at John Brown University. They work with a program for international students. And our son lives here. And the name Bob Smith is so common. However, after having 4 wonderful daughters, we named him Bob Smith Jr. So
It isn't Robert.
well, it's Robert Lott Smith Jr.
Okay. Okay. Now, where's John Brown University?
John Brown University is in Siloam Springs, Arkansas.
Oh.
And he, Billy, we call him Billy, is from Belfast. So he and Mindy run an international abroad studies program there in Belfast.
And that's in Belfast?
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Ireland.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So is he from there?
Yes.
Wow. How did she meet him in college?
And Emmaus Bible College in Dubuque.
Okay.
And our oldest daughter met her husband there, and he's Canadian.
Wow, you have quite a diverse
Yes.
set of in-laws.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And how many
So
friends?
it's 4 daughters and 1 son?
Yes.
Wow, he was outnumbered.
No.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't spoiled. We say you can be spoiled, but not a brat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
Is he the youngest?
he's the youngest.
He is the youngest.
So he had all those sisters to kind of take care of him.
He did. He did.
Would you get my blanket? Okay.
Well, it's a nice rounded family that you have. How many grandchildren?
We have 19 grandchildren
Holy cow.
and 19 great-grandchildren.
Oh my goodness.
We just added 2 great-grandsons in the last 3 months.
Wow.
And it's interesting because the grandchildren, there are 8 granddaughters, 11 grandsons, and we have 8 great-granddaughters and 11 great-grandsons. So we're very blessed.
Wow. You couldn't have figured that number any differently.
No. It's
When was the
wonderful.
last time all of those people got together?
We got together with our children last October.
Okay.
On Bob's 75th birthday, we had his whole family together.
Oh, his siblings.
Yes,
Like,
and
okay.
then at one of the weddings, we had everyone together about 7 years ago.
Oh, neat.
So
And where's your husband? He was from Missouri also.
yes,
Yes. And what does he have for family?
he has a sister and 3 brothers,
Okay.
and so that includes, we're very centered around family and our church and the Gideon work and Friendship Village. Bob was a charter member of Friendship Village, and that meant he sold bonds to start Friendship Village, and then he was a founding member,
Wow.
and now he's an emeritus member. So
Wow.
so we've lived with Friendship Village in our context for a long time, since
Right.
it started. His parents lived here. Daddy lived here a year and a half, and Mom was here 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed at 102, so
My
we
goodness.
have a wonderful relationship
Did
with
they live in
Friendship
this
Village.
building?
They lived in the old building that was torn down, so
Park Lane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
Park
we
Lane.
both lived.
Yeah.
And
yes.
were their names Smith?
Yes, Harold and Helen Smith. I think she passed away in 07.
Oh no, that'd be
Yeah,
before our
before
time.
your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't move there till 2015, and he was right there about that time too.
So we always tell people, move here before you need to, because it's wonderful.
Yeah.
We look at it as a gift to our children as much as a blessing to us.
My girls thought the same thing.
Yes,
My son wasn't in on a lot of it, but the girls were here when I moved in, and they felt so relieved.
Yes.
Felt just a big weight lifted off their
Yes.
shoulders that Mom was being taken care of and looked after, and yet they could come and go as they wanted
want
to also.
And you can come and go as you want to
Yes,
as well.
we're independent. We're independent, so we could come
So
and go.
usually when we get out of our car in the underground parking, Bob will say, we lived gloriously.
Yeah,
And so we do.
yeah,
So it's
we
good.
do. We're very fortunate to have. And you've been here.
We moved in right after, like 2 months after it was opened.
Mhm.
Village.
You're some of the very
Village
first
Terrace,
ones to
yes.
move in.
Mhm.
Yes. Did you have your choice of apartments?
At first, they had a 1-bedroom that they wanted us to have, and the day we went in to sign, our apartment on 4th floor, that's 2 bedrooms, came open. And I thought because my husband farmed, he also farmed, that he would want to be on the ground level. And he loves the 4th floor, so
Oh, good.
we're blessed with that.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. You know, sometimes people don't have as much of a choice, and other
No.
times they do.
Yeah.
So it's
Now,
not,
would I have met your husband somewhere along the way, maybe in an activity or some kind of event? Or, I mean, did he get out and about? Does he get out and about?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Not as much as maybe we would like, but yes.
Yes. Okay.
So we're blessed, the farm that we were on, our son has a house on that farm, and our daughter has a house on the farm.
okay.
And our granddaughter moved into the house that we lived in.
Okay.
So, and she's one that has 2 little boys, so
Okay.
we're going there Friday to see them. So it's a blessing. We go out and sit by the pond and just enjoy the outside there.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It's nice that it's still a working farm for
It's
you.
a working farm. Our son rents it from us and
Mhm.
works it, so.
Do you take part in a lot of the activities here?
I would do more.
Mm-hmm. If you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the blessing of Friendship Village, that you can be as social as you want, or
Mhm.
you can be private if you want.
That's right.
And there's so many activities to take part in, all the crafts and the programs that they have, and
Yeah, the programs are great
yes,
when
they're
they have
wonderful.
programs of every kind. If you want to go to a music one, you can go. If you want to go to someone talking, you can go. Or if you want to play bingo, or if you want
Yes.
to play Wheel of Fortune, if you want to go for exercise,
There's everything.
there's everything. So you just look at that monthly calendar that we get out with the vibes, and you can just check off whatever you want to do.
And that's what I do. I put it
Yep.
on my iPad,
Yep.
so I don't forget.
Right, right. Well, I have my busy calendar here that is only I can read. But
I take that whole month of activity, and
Yes.
put it up on right over my sink.
Right. So you can look at it every day and see what
Yeah.
you have to do, where you have to be, and at what time, and all that good stuff.
And the staff is just remarkable in
Yes.
their friendliness and their remember your name
Mm-hmm.
and things about just talk with you about and
That's a wonderful talent about some of these.
it
They learn
is.
your name real
Yes,
fast.
they do.
I'm really surprised sometimes when I call you by name. Wow, they know me.
Yeah, yeah.
And the dining facilities are
Mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah, we have such choices.
It's good food.
Yeah.
It's so good.
We have a lot of
Yeah.
choices too. Have the noon meals here and the supper meals and the cafe, and then over in the terrace they have many different places where you can eat food and pick up food.
We
And,
make a habit of, we have soup from the bistro every
Mm-hmm.
day at lunch. So it's fun to not know what you're having and have a wonderful, good soup.
Mhm.
And
You go down to the
place.
bistro to eat?
Yes.
Hmm.
So it's really good.
Right. I've only picked up their baked goods over there. I like to look at their cabinet that has all the baked goods in, because
Yes.
it's something different than what we have here. So if I'm over there, I always check it out and see what I can find.
It's always lovely.
Right.
Good.
And once in a while I've had coffee over there too.
Yes.
And it's a cool way to serve salads. Just
Yes.
load up your salad thing, and then they weigh it. And,
Mm-hmm.
And eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
And then the places upstairs, dining services, I have not eaten there, but I hear they're really good.
They
so.
are. And they have a full selection now. They
Mhm.
went through so much that
Right.
it's wonderful.
And I've been at Wellspring, and I thought they had good food over there too. So I ate
You're
their.
easily pleased.
Yeah,
Food-wise.
I'm not fussy. I'm not too fussy.
So tell us a little bit more about your husband's involvement with Gideons.
My husband's father, during World War II, wanted to join the Gideons. Daddy was totally blind,
Oh,
and his father read to him. He went to a Bible school. His father read to him.
oh,
And when he found out that he could be a Gideon and place testaments in the hands of the service people, he
Okay.
joined. So Bob joined when he was like 17. Back then you could join when you were young, and not now they have a requirement of a business or professional to join, and then they have a auxiliary for the wives of the Gideons.
mhm.
So he has been a Gideon for that long, and then I joined after we married.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, he's still a member.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So the cabinet has all of the officers, and then they have zones, and that's where he was active in zones over Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa.
Mhm.
And that's when he traveled so much. So we just feel like it was a great opportunity to share.
Is this
God's word.
nationwide? The whole
Yeah,
United
it's
States?
all over the world.
All over
There are
the world.
134 countries
Wow.
that have the Gideons in them. And they have extension trips where Gideons from all over the world will go to other countries. And Bob has been to India and Chile in the past to
Okay.
head up teams to go there.
Wow.
So it's a real ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we lived over there, when we first moved in at, what was the name?
Park
of it?
Lane.
Park Lane. And it seemed like about every 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, a Gideon person
Yes.
would come to our chapel.
Yes.
And that would be the chapel service
Mm-hmm.
for that Wednesday night or
Okay.
Sunday. And
All of the administrative expenses are paid by our dues, and all of the money that is given at the churches or offerings goes strictly to buy testaments and place them. So we
Okay.
pay our own administration expenses. So it's
Where's your headquarters at then? That
we have a Waterloo Cedar Falls camp, but our headquarters is in Nashville, Tennessee.
okay.
And then they have a Gideon convention in July every year. Everyone from all over the world comes to those.
Oh.
And that was always our summer vacation.
Sure.
So we got to go to a lot of the cities And then they would have children's programs as well for them. So
Wow. So you took your whole family?
Yeah, the whole family went.
Oh,
It was a
neat.
blessing.
Yes, that would be very interesting. A lot of fun. Have your children got into this also?
Our son is a Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
He's not active as he has other places that he serves.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a son-in-law who's a Gideon,
Okay.
the one in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very interesting. Learned a lot about that I didn't know. See how much we learn by doing a podcast.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
fun.
yeah, that's true. Adult children, well, of course they're adults.
They're
Have
all,
they- have-
they're all grandparents now.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right, they were grandparents. Have they talked at all about maybe someday they might want to move to a place like this? Have they?
They're not old enough yet.
I know, but I mean,
Well, our oldest daughter and her husband will tease about they've stayed in the guest room and they've eaten here and they've been here. So they always joke, maybe we'll just come back here and be with you a lot of the time. So
Well, some of my kids think the same way. Hey, this is not too bad living here.
No.
You know, you got your food ready for you, you got a nice place to live.
one of your grandkids called it a palace, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Grandma lives in a palace.
Yeah.
what do they call the top floor of certain places? That's
Penthouse.
The penthouse,
Okay,
yeah.
one of our daughters says you just live in a penthouse. Mom."
Yeah,
right.
that's an idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So she thinks we
Phil
live
lives
in a
on the
penthouse.
first floor. I don't think he's going to make it to the penthouse.
No, I'm not. But I get to walk out to the pond, so that's kind of nice.
You just open his door and go right out there.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah,
Put his feet in the pond if he wants to.
yep.
Or have the geese come to his
Oh,
door.
we can see that from our apartment.
Mhm.
And we have a little deck out, so that's really,
Oh,
You
So
have
on
a
your deck-
balcony, don't
yeah, a
you?
on
balcony.
your deck, you're looking over at this building?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Bob sees the pond and I see mostly Mercy One or your
Okay.
building.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But,
You probably can see all the Christmas decorations.
oh
and
yes,
lights.
we can. We can see the Merry Christmas and the peace on it from
Mhm.
our window.
Uh-huh.
And the people's apartments too that might
Yes,
be lit up.
yes,
Yeah,
we
and we
do.
could see over there.
It's fun to do that.
Mm-hmm. Now they really decorate nicely for the holidays here, with the lights and everything.
Yes, it
They do.
is. And the special dinner that they have
Oh
for the
yeah.
holidays is really
Yes.
and the birthday dinners are
The birthday
fun.
dinners are really,
They're
really
fun.
nice.
They really serve well.
Do you do any cooking at home?
When we moved in, I was the one who had all the big family dinners. And so I brought the crock pot, the fryer, all of those things. And one of my daughters said to the other one, I found out later, why is she taking all of those things to cook? I'd always cooked and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't cook. I do make dinner rolls still.
Yeah.
That's a family tradition. My mother made those. I
Mhm.
make those, and I have a granddaughter that makes those.
Yeast?
Yeast, yes,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
rise, and so.
And punch it down.
Oh yes, so I still make those, and that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But
You
I
don't
really
host
don't
it,
cook.
you can just contribute.
yes.
Yes. Well, I don't cook either.
But I have a wonderful daughter-in-law, Bobby's wife, Teresa, has taken over all of the family dinners,
Oh,
and
bless
just
her
a
heart.
blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
So I bring the rolls, and she does everything else.
Well, my daughter and
So-
granddaughter that live close here usually take turns having a
To do.
meal. And my granddaughter likes to do it because then her kids are in their home and they can do their own thing and take their naps and everything.
Yes.
So I get to go down there a couple times a year for a family get together. So, yeah, I used to host a lot when we were married and had children, because I had my parents and his parents, and they lived.
Yes.
One lived 13 miles away, the other lived 7 miles away. So I had them at my
You had
house. I had
everything.
both sides come. So, because my sisters all moved far away. So I was the only one around, and so I had the family dinner. So I was used to cooking and entertaining, and then I just kept doing that when my kids got married. They all came home, and I cooked and
Yes.
entertained.
Yes.
So now I'm retired. They just can't, sometimes they can't get used to that I don't cook anymore. I mean, yeah, I can make soup. I'll make chili. I'll make a few things.
Yeah, I'll make chili sometimes.
Yeah, that's easy to do. But
however, the bistro chili is so tasty and good.
well, our chili down here is good too.
Good too.
Yeah.
So
I'll bring some home and make it last 2 meals sometimes. But that's why we moved here, to retire completely, not have to do all that stuff. And I don't have all the equipment anymore either.
no, I don't. I've given the crock pot to a granddaughter-in-law, and
Well, I still have a crock pot. That's what I make my chili in.
so it does. It's good.
I got a crock pot in the garage. So I guess I don't use it very often.
I guess you haven't brought it in and plugged it in, have you?
Yeah.
You could make a soup.
Oh, I do. I make soups.
You make it in a pan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more ways to make it.
Yeah. Well, I bought me a package the other day of minestrone. You just add water
Yes.
and
Yes.
boil it up. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just added a couple of things to it and
Sure.
stretched it out a little bit, made it tastier.
Mm-hmm. Well, they make good soup downstairs, so it's so easy to pick up a container of soup and
is.
bring it home that to make your own, if you have to make, and you can freeze it. You can
Yeah.
freeze stuff like that, but
Sometimes I like to ask this question of our guests, and so I'm going to ask you, Deanna, but is there anything that you have, well, I'm sure there's a lot of things you've learned about living as you have lived and the life you have, and is there anything special that maybe you've learned that you could pass on to the people hearing our podcast? Anything about life?
I think the secret for me is to be thankful. If you have a thankful heart, you're focusing on the ones who've given, the Lord who's given, and those around you who've given. And the verse that really encourages me is in Romans 12:15, and it sort of covers everything with your relationships. It's rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. So no matter what, you can have a bond with those around you when that verse is in your heart and desire to do so. There's so many opportunities here to just be friendly and to be encouraging and to be thankful.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and that's, I think that's a good way to be
A good way to live.
enjoy. Yes.
yes, I think so too. It's very good. Very good.
Yep. A thankful heart is one heart that's close to the Lord.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, we're about ready to close shop here and come to our closing. Anything else for the good of the order here you might want to share today, or anything from you, Mary? Left?
No, I think we've covered a lot of ground. We've learned a lot today. That's what our main focus is, to learn about a resident and their lifestyle and things they like to contribute to Friendship Village. We just all have a great time living here, and I enjoy getting acquainted with everybody.
Okay. Well, let's see. Why don't you join us? We're going to say it this way. May the good Lord bless and keep you until we meet once again. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.